If your brain feels like it's constantly working against you, spiraling, self-sabotaging, eroding your confidence, it's not because it or you are broken. Your brain is just doing what it's been trained to do, and you have the power to retrain it. That's because your brain is basically a lifelong work in progress. It's called neuroplasticity, which is the scientific term for the way our brains are constantly changing and can literally rewire themselves based on what we think and do. I've done it, and it's real. A therapist I used to see put it this way: our brains work on quantity, not quality. So whatever your dominant thoughts are, that's what your brain focuses on. It's basically a feedback loop. Change your thoughts, and you change that focus. That means confidence, optimism, even happiness are not just personality traits or life circumstances. They're patterns, habits that you can train your brain into. Really, I'm serious. But if you don't want to believe me, perhaps you'll listen to a professional. According to certified neuroplasticity expert Jennifer First, there are 5 ways you can start shifting your mindset and rewiring your brain today, even if you're feeling stuck or miserable. Number 1, talk to yourself like someone you respect. Your brain believes whatever you tell it, even if it's total nonsense. If you're constantly thinking, I'm not good enough, or I always mess things up, or things will never get better, your brain will seek and find proof that you're right and ignore all evidence to the contrary. You're leading it down a path and it's following, because that's what our brains are literally designed to do. To form neural pathways based on status quo and repetition to give us a comfortable, predictable feeling of safety, even if it's based on negativity. It's the whole better the devil you know thing. But you can change this if you simply start talking to yourself like someone you actually admire, and keep doing it, even though, and this is the key, it will not feel true at first. But over time, your brain rewires to believe it. Again, quantity over quality. My therapist told me to reframe every negative belief into a positive one and then spend time every single day repeating these new truths out loud. The repetition is key. It does take time, but you'll create a new neural pathway based on that respect you're showing yourself, and your brain will shift its focus. Number 2, replace bad habits with better ones. Most of us think changing bad habits is all about willpower, but First and other neuroscience experts say willpower doesn't work because it requires constant effort, and our brains are designed for efficiency. Simply staying with the bad habit is way more efficient than struggling to stop it. So whether it's procrastination, bad eating habits, getting short with your partner, whatever the case may be, as First puts it, your brain has been running the same neural loop on repeat, in some cases for your whole life. So the fix is not to just stop doing it, it's to replace it with a different, stronger habit. This is part of why it's often said it takes about 21 days of consistency to form a new habit, for example. So no more simply quitting things cold turkey. Instead, adopt and practice a new response or a new coping mechanism, a new routine. The more you do this, the weaker the old pattern gets and the stronger the new one becomes. Your brain creates new wiring as the old wiring begins to break down. Number 3, trust yourself enough to take action. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in spite of it, because the hard truth is, if you wait until you feel ready to make a change in your life, you'll be waiting forever. This is because, again, it is literally your brain's job to keep you safe by maintaining the status quo. It doesn't want you trying new things. But the good news is, your brain adapts to whatever certainty you give it. Again, quantity over quality. So give it some. Tell your brain that you trust yourself to figure things out, rather than that you're scared to make a new move or afraid you'll fail. Then be proactive, even if it's uncomfortable, because every step you take will reinforce the idea that you can handle the unknown, and that confidence will tell your brain that it's safe to proceed, so you can get out of your own way. Number 4, listen to your emotions. Don't ignore them. Feelings are not the enemy. As any therapist will tell you, they are simply data alerting you to something that needs your attention. So instead of shoving them down or avoiding them, take a break and ask yourself, what is this trying to tell me? And once you land on that, and it may take a bit of consideration, remind your brain what's true instead. A therapist I've worked with suggests a 3-step protocol for this, in which you 1. Identify what you're feeling, and if you can, find it in your body, because our bodies and brains are intricately connected. But if you have a lot of trauma, this might be hard to identify, so don't get hung up if you can't find a sensation. Then 2, once you've figured out what the emotion is, assure yourself and your nervous system that it's normal to feel this way. You don't need to run from it. It's normal. And then finally, number 3, offer your brain a counterpoint that is true. So for example, it's normal to feel nervous and afraid before a job interview. And it's normal that my stomach feels queasy and my heart is pounding. There's no need to run from it. But what's true is that I'm qualified, prepared, and capable, or I wouldn't have gotten the interview in the first place. It's also true that if I don't get the job, I have a support system that will help me continue navigating the search for work. Once you decode the emotion and sit with it, rather than run from it or push it down, it loses power and you gain the upper hand. And that tells your brain that number 1 thing it's concerned with: you're safe. And finally, 5, embrace change even when it's uncomfortable. If you're feeling stuck, the truth is you're probably not, because our brains are constantly changing, right up until the end of our lives. You're not the same person you were a year ago. Your brain has changed significantly since then. As First puts it, the question is, are you shaping it intentionally or letting old patterns decide who you become? The truth is, we're not at the mercy of our past, our brains, or our thoughts. It often feels like we are, and we're often told that we are. But we have so much more agency over our brains than most of us are ever taught. We can't change what's happened to us, of course, but we can change how we tell our brains to think about it. And with practice, even the most unhappy, anxious, self-doubting mind can become confident, resilient, and even, dare I say, wildly optimistic. So the question is, who will you become?